Dear wanderer, feel a warm welcome here. Today we will continue working on trees, but before we begin, I would like to invite you for a small journey with me. Last time we talked a bit about how nature can help us go through bad days and improve our mental health. Let me talk to you about my own mental journey. Start over is never the easiest thing to experience, but sometimes you do not have a chance and you do it anyway. Starting from zero again, but at least now you are the only one who is writing the story. I wish all the families were that perfect as I have seen around me. Well, mine was a quite exception. Long 15 years passed, and I'm happy now for that non-perfect family to push me so far to find my own. Most of us know that feeling, falling down and standing up again, no matter if you were your own barricade or someone else helped you hit the ground. Sometimes the mixture of it. Life happened, and building a castle out of your ruins of the past, it's hard. And if you are doing it, or did, I'm happy for you. Cry over the ruins and stick into the mud. It's easier than trying to start a new building. Along the way, bonsai found me, and after many years, it is a candlelight when I feel lost or down. Founding something that you can hold on to made such a difference for myself, and I cannot even imagine my life without it. The rainy days, the long dark winter ones, or just the simple bad ones, and a lot of happy ones filled with friends and family. Try to do better just a tiny bit every day. It is a long way made out of small steps. You will get there, I promise. Now let's work on some trees. Usually when May comes, I like to do air layers on my trees. This silver birch is a species native to Ireland. The tree is associated with new beginning and protection. In Celtic mythology, it's often linked to renewal and purification rituals. Birch is considered a high water mobility tree. This means it has a high transpiration rate and can move large amount of water from the soil to the atmosphere through the leaves, so it will root very quick if we use this method on the tree. Let me say a few things about air layering. Air layering is a propagation technique that involves rooting branches while they are still attached to the parent plant. Since air layering uses mature branches, the resulting plants tend to grow faster and reach maturity sooner compared to those grown from seed or cuttings. This method generally has a higher success rate because the layered branch remains attached to the parent plant, which continues to provide nutrition and water until roots form. When performing air layering, you cut into the bark of a selected branch to expose the cambium layer. When removing the bark, the gap between the top and the bottom cut should be the thickness as the trunk. Using rooting powder can significantly enhance the success of the air layering by promoting faster and more robust root development. Usually rooting powders are made of indole tree butyric acid, IBA, is a synthetic plant hormone belonging to the auxin family, widely used to stimulate root growth in plant cuttings and improve propagation success rates. After we apply the rooting hormone, I like to use sphagnum moss as the rooting medium. The benefits are such as moisture retention. Sphagnum moss can hold a large amount of water while still providing good aeration, creating an optimal environment for root growth. Aeration. The structure of sphagnum moss allows for excellent airflow, preventing root rot and promoting healthy root development. and natural sterility. Sphagnum moss has natural antiseptic properties that reduce the risk of fungal and bacterial infection in cuttings and air layers. After many successful air layers, I stick to use bubble wrap as cover the air layers. Here's the benefits of it. Bubble wrap helps maintain consistent moisture level around the sphagnum moss, crucial for root formation. The air pockets in the bubble wrap provide insulation, protecting developing roots from temperature fluctuations. Now, as this air layer almost filled out the sphagnum moss, we gently remove the bubble wrap and try not to damage any roots. After successfully completing an air layering process, reducing the foliage of the new plant can help in transition more effectively from the parent plant to an independent growth phase. This step is especially important to minimize the stress on the newly rooted plant and encourage healthy growth. As the new plant has limited root system and may struggle to support all the foliage initially, reducing the number of leaves help lower the amount of water the plant loses through transpiration. When it comes to separation of the trees, being extra careful again not to damage any new developed roots. This branch in the middle was dead, so I decided to cut it off. The only thing left is plant our new tree. As I have mentioned before, earth trees are high water mobility trees, so being in compost, they will do just fine. Also, it will be in a training for a few years, so I do not use any bonsai soil at this stage, although you can if you wish for. Now let's move on to the next tree. I have put together this beech forest last December, when we had the bare root season. Before we will start to work on it, let me show you how did I made it. I love to buy trees during bare root season. Bare root season typically occurring in late fall through early spring. In this period when many deciduous trees and shrubs can be transplanted without soil around their roots. Bare root plants are generally less expensive than their container-grown counterparts. This is because they are lighter and easier to transport. Many nurseries offer discount for purchasing bare root plants in bulk. After we wash them, I will take off the thicker roots and keep as much delicate feeder roots as possible. Usually I do not touch compositions for a year or so, but this forest grew way better than I expected. The new greenhouse really did its job, as it was kept in there for a whole winter season. Now it's time to take outside. As you see, I let it grow kind of unchecked from last year, so it helped to establish the trees in the new container. Also seen few inner branches shaded out, so it's time to prune it back and let light into the composition. The pruning technique which we will use on this forest is called maintenance pruning, which helps to maintain and refine the shape of the forest. Also, we want light and air to penetrate the inner parts of the forest, which will allow bud back and the previously shaded branches can benefit from photosynthesis. As you can see here, the difference between the inner shaded branches compared to the outer ones which get much better light A perfect example why we need to do this method. As now we are done with the pruning, we will let the forest grow kind of untouched for the rest of the growing season, and we'll come back to it later this year. If you have not seen my previous summer bonsai care video, there I'll talk more in detail about how to prune your bonsai trees in summer. For that video I will leave a link below. And now let's do some nursery material styling. Another thing what I like to do in summer is to buy some nursery material and give it the first styling. You can learn a lot of theory by reading bonsai books, watching demonstrations, or even following someone on YouTube. But the practical knowledge is coming from experience, at least by my opinion. Before I started to work on trees, I have watched hundreds, even thousands of hours of videos of people teaching and working on trees. But I have learned the most when I started to do it myself. It can be scary at the first time, but you will get better and better. Make the big mistakes, break those branches. I do not encourage you to harm trees. I'm simply saying that you can learn a lot from your mistakes. Also, you can practice your skills on materials which are cheaper compared to a really expensive tree. Building up your skill set, experiencing different trees acting differently to techniques what you will apply on them will make you a better bonsai practitioner. So the first thing I always do is I clean out the base of the tree. Nursery materials usually potted deeper, so removing the soil at the top can result a nice nibari on the tree. Nibari is a Japanese term used in bonsai horticulture to refer to the surface roots of the bonsai tree. We also clean out the older needles within the canopy. The next step will be removing all the dead branches. After we clean the dead branches out, we look for some interesting movement in the trunk, so we can choose our front of the tree. So as you can see, this junction has 4 branches. The ramification is from 1 branch to 4. In this case, you can remove the top and the bottom branches and leave the 2 side ones. We are aiming for 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, etc. So what means is that the main branch will divide to 2 branches, that 2 branch will divide to 4 branches, then that 4 branch will divide to 8 branches. This is how we create nice ramification in basic terms. While we prune for ramification, we try to push the tree back to its base as much as possible. That will create a nice balanced tree. Also, removing big branches and work with the thinner ones will allow the trunk to show its beauty. And again, When you see branch junctions with more than 2 branches, you can remove the ones which grow in top and downwards. The branches growing from the front of the tree also can be removed or made them to jins. In bonsai, jin refers to the technique used to create a natural-looking deadwood feature on a tree. This technique involves stripping the bark off a branch or a section of the trunk to simulate the appearance of an ancient tree that has survived harsh conditions. The exposed wood is then treated to preserve it and enhance its aesthetic appeal. This practice is common in bonsai and helps to create a sense of age, struggle, resilience in the tree's overall composition. Now we can prune back the 2 buds on the entire tree. This will clean out the tree and we can make our future styling decisions. As you can see here, the tree has an inverse taper. In bonsai, inverse taper refers to an undesirable condition where the trunk or a branch becomes thicker as it descends, rather than tapering gradually from a thicker base to a thinner top. This unnatural thickening can disrupt the overall aesthetic of the balance of the bonsai, as it goes against the natural growth patterns seen in full-size trees. So in this case, what I decided to do is jin the whole branch on the right, so we can avoid more thickening in the future of this junction of the tree and make it a feature of the bonsai. After I stripe off the bark, we can add more interest to the jin, simply trying to mimic what nature does in long years. Now we can wire the whole tree. I will try to help you with a few tips about wiring. Use aluminium or copper wire, with aluminium being easier to handle for beginners. The wire should be about 1/3 the thickness of the branch you are wiring. Start by anchoring the wire around the trunk or a thicker branch close to the branch you intend to wire. This provides a stable base and prevents the wire from moving. Extend the wire to the first branch, wrapping it at 45-degree angle. This angle provides the best support and flexibility. Using your 2 hands will help to prevent any damage to the branches you are wiring. When you apply the wire, we can start to style the tree. The basic style tip what I can give you is move the branch to an out, down and out position. This will represent age, snow load on pines, and will give you a feeling of maturity. Being July, we're not going to repot this tree now. Personally, I like to grow out for a few years in bigger container, so the tree can grow quicker and thicker. but you can transplant it into a bonsai container next repotting season, and you will have a nice shohin tree. Also, we'll need to make sure that we apply the correct amount of water, as we removed almost 70% of the tree, means it will be able to utilize less water than before, and also being in pure compost. My tip will be water it through and make sure the whole container is soaked, and after wait till it's almost dry out properly, and then water again. For me that means once a week watering. Obviously depends on the weather, but we'll keep it in the greenhouse, so I will be in charge of the watering. For this video I have partnered up with Wazakura Japan. Their desire to make quality tools accessible to everyone, while keeping the old Japanese craftsmanship alive. That is why all their tools are designed and manufactured in local Japanese workshops. Using their tools for a while now, I can say that it is high quality out of the box. I will leave my affiliate link below for you if you wish to try a quality bonsai tool. This will grant you a one-time 10% off discount. With all of that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I gave you some useful information what you can use on your own bonsai journey. See you all next time.